Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai elecha, v'nashuva, Chodesh, Chodesh, Yomenu kekedem.
Boker Tov. Good morning. Chag Sameach. We join again on this great festival of Yom Kippur. We welcome you to Temple Beth as we continue this sacred day of individual pensive reflection and communal connectedness and responsibility. I'm Rabbi Jason Levine, and I'm honored to be joining with my clergy colleagues, Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick, Rabbi Dana Benson. Whether Temple Beth has been your home for many years or in the past few, or you're joining for the first time, or whatever might have led you to join us this morning, we're united, each caring, supporting, and strengthening the other. In our non-traditional sort of way, we have joined again for these high holidays. This experience has so profoundly reinforced that our community and their connections to all within the Jewish world can overcome any obstacle. We remain home to safeguard health and safety, but through prayer, learning, and deeds of kindness, our connections with each other can be closer than ever. We encourage you to make your home a comfortable, pleasant, sacred space. Find a place that brings you peace. Bring in objects that help lighten your heart. Put away those things that may cause stress or distraction. Let's create our own sanctuary at home so we can truly focus on this work of Yom Kippur. A note about safety. All of us present, those in front of the cameras and those behind at Temple Beth have all been COVID tested and are negative. We are maintaining large distances between each other, being masked as much as possible, keeping other appropriate safety protocols. Health comes first. And on that note, for those who are fasting on this Yom Kippur, please keep yourself safe and well today. Health always comes first. Finally, you can go to our website, templebetham.org, the High Holidays page under the Life Cycle and Worship menu. On that page, you can find virtual flip books of our High Holiday Machzor if you don't have one at home. Just a note, at the bottom of the page on the flip books, you can type in the number of the page to more easily go to where you want to go. But introductions aside, we open our communal Yom Kippur morning service. Sometimes the most important words are not of tradition or found in the book, but they come from people's hearts. Let's begin our services learning from each other and what Yom Kippur means to them.
Okay, Alea, what does Yom Kippur mean to you?
Yom Kippur means to me seeing family and asking for forgiveness.
What does Yom Kippur mean to you? You have to take it out of your mouth.
You mean the dinosaur?
Mm-hmm.
He said honey.
He said what?
Honey.
Oh.
What?
Good one. What else? One other thing. How about, we'll do 3 things, because you're 3. Wait, take them out of your mouth so I can understand you. What is the
next one?
What does Yom Kippur mean? We'll do these many.
Again to the dinosaur?
Okay, what?
The dinosaur also does apples and the sofa.
Woo!
To me, Yom Kippur is a time to reflect on the past year and times I wish I had acted differently and think about how I can do better in the coming year.
Yom Kippur to me is a time of reflection and looking back on your life and the things that have happened and trying to learn from your failures and mistakes and move forward into the future, trying to just be a better person and overall more well-rounded and being more caring and loving and giving, and just showing appreciation for everyone in your life and the people who maybe you don't appreciate as much as you should.
For us, Yom Kippur is a time to be together as a family, to think about the things that we have accomplished over the year, the things that we want to say to one another, to ask for forgiveness for the things that we've done that may have hurt somebody. But mostly it's a time to sort of wipe the slate clean and get ready for the next adventure over the next year.
And after prayers and music, people are always the most important part of the holidays for me. I'll miss that, but I'm trying to focus more on introspection this year.
I've always enjoyed the dramatic Kol Nidre service, complete with cello music, when the entire congregation stands as one. This year we'll do it virtually. Hopefully next year we'll do it back in person.
Shema Tova.
My rabbis have taught me that preparation for the high holidays during the month of Elul is essential. I have to admit that up until this year, my Elul preparation has not been seriously undertaken. This strange moment in our history has made me truly introspective. I am profoundly thankful for my many blessings, value and deeply miss my in-person connections with my TBA community, and feel a real sense of personal responsibility and possibility for Teshuvah. My prayer for 5781 is that we will be strong enough to stay apart, so that our strength together post-COVID will be even stronger.
Kippur means Teshuvah. We strive to enter the new year in a spirit of humility, self-scrutiny, and spiritual renewal through prayer, reflection, and ritual.
We continue on page 160 with Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily miracles. On Yom Kippur especially, we take this time to look more deeply at our lives and our world, noticing and appreciating the great miracles around us. Each line gives us a chance to be in awe of how truly amazing life is. You can read each line in Hebrew or English as is your preference. Once we have completed the final blessing on page 162, Rabbi Dana will begin in the Hebrew once more and allow each of us to fill in and complete the line with a blessing or miracle unique to our own lives. Nisim B'chol Yom, page 160.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lesechvi bina lehavchin ben yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power opens the eyes that cannot see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power has made me all that I need. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten le'ayev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power endowed me with human freedom. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, whose great power crowns Israel with glory. And now it's time to offer our own blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has allowed us to still find ways to gather and spiritually be connected even during these times. And since we are gathered here together during these times, it is so wonderful to have you virtually in this space with us. We have the words of the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, to remind us that even if we are separated by space, we are still in one community in prayer. Baruch Hu can be found on page 178.
We continue with Shema, found on page 186, followed by V'ahavta on the following page. As we have been and will be exploring various Shema melodies this year, on Yom Kippur we use the grand melody by the great composer Solomon Solzer. Don't feel like you need to be in sync with Rabbi Dana or the music or anything else. Begin when you're ready. Breathe in and out. Just take the prayer as you need. Let it be a deeply personal moment, just for you. Just pray as your heart calls. If you would like to rise, in the time and the moment that is right for you, let that moment come. Individually, but still as one. Shema.
Shema.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue with Micha Mocha on page 196. We often describe it in historical terms of our physical freedom from bondage. But today on Yom Kippur, let us consider how we must break free from the stresses, insecurities, biases, and internal obstacles that hold us back. Let us open ourselves to our full potentials. Micha Mocha, page 196.
From the Yiddish poem Tefillas. I still don't know whom, I still don't know why I ask. A prayer lies bound in me and implores a God and implores a name. I pray in the field, in the noise of the street, together with the wind when it runs before my lips. A prayer lies bound in me and implores a God and implores a name. On this Yom Kippur, we continue now with HaTefillah, the Amidah, our standing prayer. You may rise or rise in spirit as you wish. We continue on page 198.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up our lips that our mouths may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasarim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Zochreinu L'chaim Melech Hafetz B'chaim V'chotvenu B'sefer HaChaim L'mancha Elohim Chaim Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Izrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Leoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim V'Chesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Midomelach Melech Memit U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua מי כמוך על הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים, לחיים ברחמים, לחיים ברחמים. מלך עוזר ומשה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
We continue now with the special insertion to the Amidah on this Yom Kippur, the Unataneh Tokef. And to prepare ourselves for it, I share with you my favorite teaching about this prayer by Rabbi Edward Feinstein. I sat in shul for years reading these words before I realized the answer. The answer to each of the questions of this prayer is me. Who will live and who will die? I will. Who at their end and not at their end? Me. Like every human being, when I die, it will be at the right time and it will be also too soon. Fire, water, earthquake, plague. In my lifetime, I've been scorched and drowned, shaken and burdened, wandering and at rest, tranquil and troubled. That has been my life's journey. Of course, in ordinary days, I prefer to deflect this truth. I would much prefer to let the prayers talk about someone else, perhaps the fellow sitting over there in the next video screen over. It has taken a lifetime to reveal that this defense is a lie. This prayer is not about someone else. It's about me. It's a frightfully succinct summary of my existence. So now I read it again, but in the first person, and it makes me shiver. I will live and I will die. This is the central truth of the High Holy Days. This is what makes them Yamim Noraim, days of terror. We are vulnerable. We continue on page 208.
Unataneh Tokef kedushat hayom ki hu nora ve'ayom.
Our sovereign God of pardon and forgiveness, let these words of sanctity ascend to you. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, and your reign is a reign of truth. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten, and when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other.
Ushofar gadol yitaka v'kol demamad yishma u'malachim yechefezun v'chilur adai yochezun v'yomeru hine yom hadin lifkor al tzeva marom badin ki lo yizku be'enecha badin.
And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah. A still, small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold, the day of judgment. For they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments.
Berosh Hashanah ikatevun, ikatevun. Uvyom Yom Kippur yechatemun, yechatemun. Kama ya'arvun, v'kama yarbihun, mi chiyeh mi yamut, mi v'kitzo mi lo v'kitzo, mi va'esh mi v'mayim. Mi v'cherev, mi v'chaya, mi v'ra'av, mi v'tzama, mi v'ra'ash, mi v'magefa, mi v'chanika, mi v'aslikila, mi anuach, mi anua, mi ashkit, mi etoraf, mi shalev mi taser, mi ani, mi ashir, mi ushpal, mi arum.
On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age and who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted?
Utshuva, utfila, utstaka, ma'avirin, et roha gzera.
But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread, like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, mere dust on the wind, a dream that flies away. But for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere. A mystery no one can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name, and our name you have linked with yours. We'll continue now with the remainder of the Amidah of this Hatafillah, the central prayer, in silence, remembering that God is sometimes heard in the still small voice within. If you choose to, you can use the words on the page through to page 251, or you can find the kavanah of your own heart, the intention and words of your own heart.
Our Torah service begins on page 252 with the words of praise unique to the high holidays, Avinu Malkeinu. We call out to a God who can teach us, guide us, support us, and love us, someone to lean on as we analyze ourselves and our communities on Yom Kippur. Whatever view of God or divine beings that we might have, we need these moments to know that we are not alone. We have someone to watch us, help us, cradle us through times of challenge, and encourage us onward. Page 252, please join me in Avinu Malkeinu as we read together. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed in sins before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Let's read the Hebrew first. Avinu Malkeinu, chanenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshiyenu. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh imanu, Aseh imanu, Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshiyenu. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshiyenu.
Please rise for the Torah service, which can be found on page 254. Ein kemocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha lechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam v'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Today, on Yom Kippur, we read from Parsha Nitzavim. And in this Parsha, the question is posed to us. Do you choose life? Will you choose life? Or will you choose death? Rabbi Eliezer Davidowitz says about this seemingly obvious question, is there a person that would choose death? What kind of choice is really being offered here? Wouldn't everyone pursue life as opposed to the curse of death? Well, the choice of life is an active one. As so many of the prayers of Yom Kippur remind us, we all will live and we all will die. But how we live each day, how we choose to pursue the things that are important in this world, that is really the question posed by this parsha. How will we choose to live? How will we choose to make a difference?
For our Torah reading, we are grateful to Rabbi Dana for chanting a few verses from Torah, beginning Deuteronomy chapter 29. We will then hear Davia Lauren, Marla and Joe Kaufman, and Larry Smith sharing the parsha in English. Thank you to you all. For our Aliyah the Torah, our blessing over the Torah, we want to honor all the teachers and educators in our community. Early childhood, grade school, high school, university, technical school, adult learning. You have faced every challenge with a steadfastness towards your students and a commitment to helping us reach our future. Words cannot express our gratitude, but we should always try. So thank you. I encourage everyone to do the same every time you see a teacher. To all the teachers and educators, we encourage you to chant the blessings along at home on page 258 so we can truly honor you. This group of tireless heroes will be represented by Dara McAllister, the director of our Seed Early Childhood School. We are very grateful to the incredible and diligent work of our early childhood educators everywhere who safely opened first so that our youngest ones can be safe and joyful during these cautious times. Ta'amod, Devorah bat Moshe v'Margalit, v'kol hamarim v'machnihim l'chol tamidenu, l'aliyah Torah. The blessings, page 258. The reading itself, page 266.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem. Roshechem, Shivtechem, Ziknechem, Vishotrechem, Kol Ish Yisrael. Tafchem, Livshechem, Vegaracha, Asher Bekerev Machanecha, Mechotev, Atsecha, Ad Shoev Memecha, Levrecha, Bivrit, Adonai Elohecha uvalato, Asher Adonai Elohecha koreti mecha hayom.
You stand this day, all of you, in the presence of Adonai your God, your tribal heads, elders, and officials, every man, woman, and child of Israel, and a stranger in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, to enter into the covenant of Adonai your God, and the oath that Adonai your God makes with you this day, to establish you as God's people and to be your God, as promised to you and sworn to your ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not with you alone do I make this covenant and this oath, but with each one who stands here among us this day in the presence of Adonai our God, and with each one who is not here among us this day.
When all these things happen to you, the blessing and the curse that I have set before you, and you take them to heart among the nations to which Adonai your God has sent you away, and you return to Adonai your God, listening with all your heart and soul to God's voice, to everything I command you this day, you and your children, then Adonai your God will bring you back from captivity and take you back in love. Adonai your God will return to gather you from all the nations where you were scattered. Should you be banished beyond the horizon, even from there, Adonai your God will gather you up and take you back. And Adonai your God will bring you to the land of your ancestors, making it yours and giving you goodness and numbers greater than theirs. Then Adonai your God will open your heart and the hearts of your children to love Adonai your God with all your heart, all your being, for the sake of your life.
Adonai your God will afflict your enemies and those who pursue you with hate. But you will return, heeding the voice of Adonai, obedient to all the mitzvot I command you this day. And Adonai your God will bestow abundance through the work of your hands and the fruit of your womb, through the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land. Once again, Adonai will rejoice in your well-being as in your ancestors before you. Because you will heed the voice of Adonai your God, keep the mitzvot and the laws inscribed in this book of the Torah, and return with all your heart and all your being to Adonai your God.
For this mitzvah, which I command you this day, is neither beyond you nor far away. It's not in heaven, causing you to say, who will go up to heaven on our behalf and get it for us? And let us hear it, that we may do it. And it's not across the sea, causing you to say, who will cross the sea on our behalf, get it for us, and let us hear it, that we may do it. No, this is so very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you can surely do it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'haye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
We will be exploring the Haftarah for Yom Kippur, which is from the prophet Isaiah, later this morning during our informal service, through a modern midrash created and performed by our own Rabbi Dana Benson, who will be interweaving the words of Isaiah and other modern-day prophets. It is an incredible midrash, and we hope that you stick around and join us for it. But the Torah connects us with the Jewish people all around the world, and our values connect us further to all those created in the image of God. In the midst of the sacred space of the Torah service, we add this prayer for the world, so we can know that we are all responsible for each other and act in ways to care for all beings. We are honored for Brian, Sharon, Jamie, and Teddy Rutberg to lead this prayer. We're so thankful to Brian for all he has done throughout these high holidays to ensure that our community is full of voices from all around our community, all around our congregation, and that our values are always upheld. Thank you, Brian, and the whole Rutberg family.
We are frightened, God, worried for our loved ones, worried for our world, helpless and confused. We turn to you, seeking comfort, faith, and hope.
Teach us, God, to turn our panic into patience and our fear into acts of kindness and support. Our strong must watch out for our weak, our young must take care of our old.
Help each one of us to do our part to halt the spread of this virus. Send strength and courage to the doctors and nurses in the front lines of this battle. Fortify them with the full force of their healing powers. Send wisdom and insight to the scientists working day and night across the world to discover healing treatments. Bless their efforts, God.
Fill our leaders with the wisdom and courage to choose wisely and act quickly. Help us, God, to see that we are one world, one people who will rise above this pandemic together. Send us health, God. Watch over us. Grace us with your love. Bless us with your healing light. Hear us, God. Heal us, God. Amen.
With the Torah still in front of us, we take these moments for Mishaberach Lecholim, special prayers for healing. Our prayers of healing are all more raw since the beginning of this pandemic. So I'll first offer this special prayer for healing in the era of coronavirus, written by Rabbi Leah Dobern-Shor. Our divine healer, we ask that you be there for us, as you were there for our ancestors, a pillar in our midst. Help us turn to you, O God, for guidance during these troubled times. Give us strength in the weeks and months ahead. Help us to reach out in love and compassion to one another, to support those who are ill, unable to leave their homes, or who are struggling. Be with our doctors and caregivers, our nurses, social workers, and scientists, as they are working to develop a cure and care for those who are ill. Be with all who are ill and their families, offering them your compassion, and we pray your healing. Be with our leaders, guide them to wise decisions in these troubled days. Be with us, O God, help us to find the inner strength to be patient when our nerves are tested. Be our still waters when we are surrounded by fear and anxiety. Be our rock to whom we can turn and give our worry and fears. Be our shelter, guide our steps, and keep us safe. Help us to feel your presence in these times of change. As we open our souls on this most sacred day, each in our own homes, may our kindled hearts, each its own point of light, join as the stars in the heavens, a community together, welcoming your divine peace, your divine love, your divine presence into our homes, your divine source of healing that together we welcome more than ever before. We welcome you to add your own names of healing, and we join in song on page 273.
El na rifana la, el na rifana la, el na rifana la, el na rifana la. Et hayim hi lemazigim ba letomchecha meushar derachecha darchei noam lechol netivotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Benashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
And now, on this Yom Kippur morning, we turn to our confessions, to our Vidui. I share with you this thought from Rabbi Yitz or Irving Greenberg. In a culture striving for permissiveness, the self-critical mood of Yom Kippur strikes a note of jarring counterpoint. The tradition's answer is that guilt in its right time and place is healthy. It's crucial to conscience, Moral maturity lies in a willingness to recognize one's own wrongdoings, not to lay upon oneself a universal or destructive guilt, a guilt that cripples and focuses on nothing specific. We look at ourselves in our humility, in our vulnerability, and in our particularity, and we recognize that concrete, specific acts can be corrected. Bad patterns can be overcome. Our sharing of confessions on Yom Kippur is an act of hope. With that, we turn now to page 296. If it's your custom to do so, we invite you to please rise or rise in spirit. And for some, to say this Ashamnu prayer, we tap on our hearts as if to break it open. I have noticed that Rabbi Dana circles her heart. When I asked her why, she said that in American Sign Language, that means I'm sorry. Page 296, please join me in the English. Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed, and we have done wrong. Ashamnu.
Ashamnu, bagadnu, gazalnu, dibarnu dofi, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, hevinu, vehirshanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Sheker, Yai Dai 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 Dai, Yai Dai 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 Dai, Ya'atnu Ra, Kizavnu, Latnu, Mararnu, Niatnu, Sararnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Tsararnu, Kishinu Oref, Yai Dai 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 Dai, Yai Dai 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 Dai, Yai Dai 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 Dai, Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Ta'inu, Tietanu, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai.
We now turn to the Vidui Rabbah, the long confession of this Yom Kippur morning. I invite you to join me. We'll say the beginning formula, Al Chet Shechatanu, in English, and then we will continue in Hebrew, and then we will continue with the English. Let's begin on page 300 together. Al Chet Shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you under duress and by choice, and harm we have caused in your world consciously or unconsciously. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through our thoughtlessness, and harm we have caused in your world through impulsive acts of malice. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by abusing our power, and harm we have caused you in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and the harm we have caused in your world through inflexibility and stubbornness. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and the harm we have caused in your world by making light of serious matters. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you in our routine conversations, and the harm we have caused in your world through envy. V'al kulam Eloas slichot, salach lanu, machal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. We continue at the top of page 304. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and harm we have caused in your world by hating without cause. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by losing self-control, and harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and harm we have caused in your world by hardening our hearts. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through greed and exploitation, and the harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you through our innermost thoughts, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, the ways we have wronged you by offering or accepting bribes, and the harm we have caused in your world by profaning your name in public. Al kulam Eloah slichot, salach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement. We will now take a minute of silence to share within ourselves a cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of our souls. We say our public confessional in the plural, we have sinned before you, even if we have not each done those particular sins, because we hold ourselves and each other accountable, and we help one another as we have wronged. But there is this moment now where we look into our own individual souls. We think about that which we need to take responsibility for. So we invite you in the quiet of this moment to look through pages 307 through 309 to think about the harm that you may have caused in the last year to yourself, to others, to our community, to our world. And when we come out of it, we'll be ready to move into another part of our Yom Kippur experience.
Hi, I'm Ben Gladstein, the Temple Beth Am board president, here with my wife Teresa and children Jonah, Leo, and Sam. Our mission at Temple Beth Am is to deepen relationships with Judaism and the community by engaging the soul, heart, and mind. Like many of you, I was uncertain how our mission would translate into a digital and distanced world, but watching the myriad ways we've been able to engage over the last 6 months through virtual prayer, study, music, and socializing, I've been heartened by the resilience of our mission, our community, and our professional and clergy staff. Deepening relationships is precisely the right mission for this moment in time. Of course, I miss being physically together with all of you and the powerful experiences we share with each other. Our community is a big tent. There are many different ways to celebrate and connect with friends in Judaism at Beth Am. I've asked my board colleagues and their families to share their favorite ways to connect, and hearing their responses reminded me just how special our community is.
Hello, I'm Barbara Droker. My favorite celebrations are our B'nai Mitzvahs in the community, and especially in my family. My sons, my daughters, and my own adult B'nai Mitzvah. They are a wonderful tradition to celebrate our Jewish learning. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gary Goldbaum. My wife Judy Younger and I especially love spending Passover with our Temple Beth Am friends. It's a true community.
Hi, I'm Sarah Jensen, and this is my family.
John Weinstein.
Amara.
Nathaniel.
And our dog Joey.
And our favorite Beth Am tradition is dancing the Micha Mocha, especially at Friday Shabbat services.
Shana Tova.
18 years ago, these little fellas followed us home from the Pearl Carnival, still one of our favorite holidays. Today, they live on this windowsill.
Hi, I'm Rachel Zarrell, and for me, the High Holidays are this incredible practice space to build our muscles for accountability and growth and ultimately healing that sustain us individually and as a community throughout the year and throughout our lives.
Hi, Greg Berkman here. My favorite community tradition would have to be the kegger. I know I'm on the board. I'm supposed to be very serious, but it's the kegger. Cheers.
I'm TJ Stutman, and the community tradition that I appreciate the most is gathering with our Beth Am community at Matthews Beach for Tashlich.
Hi, this is Shelley Cohen. And I'm Julie Shapiro. We really love getting together with our Chavurah for all the Jewish holidays. We have watched our children grow up.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Chur. My favorite holiday is Shabbat. Shabbat gives me the time to find personal peace and also to connect with with the members of our community.
We know that our congregation and our Jewish traditions are always evolving, and that many of our celebrations will and should change when life returns to normal. However our traditions look in the future, the common thread is that we use our opportunities together to deepen relationships with Judaism and each other. The board understands the value of our connections and will continue to work to prioritize relationships in everything we do. Temple Beth Am is a special place because of you, our community. Thank you for helping keep us together virtually, and I can't wait until we're together to celebrate in the non-digital space as well. Until then, stay safe, and thank you for your commitment to our sacred community.
Thank you to our board of directors. Just a few announcements as we conclude this Yom Kippur morning service. We will not have a Leilu Kaddish, as in our tradition, the prayers for Yom Kippur last the entire day. So we're merely just taking a moment of pause before we move on to the next part of our day of repentance. Please do check out our website for more information on the High Holidays and all the other wonderful ways to connect that we have upcoming. This afternoon, we have our informal service with some really incredible things that we look creatively at our Yom Kippur experience. 2 wonderful discussion programs led by our Religious Practices Committee, our Young Family Service available anytime, and at 4 o'clock, a healing service, an afternoon Torah service looking at Jonah in a new way, our Yizkor Memorial Service, and we conclude with Nila. And then again, check out the website for Sukkot, including each to our Simchat Sukkot and Simchat Torah. We also have a lot of learning beginning soon. Gone, the Garden of Learning, our youth learning program. We are ready to go in just a few days on October 4th. We're waiting for you to register. We're waiting for our madrachim to apply. We are so excited for this year of youth learning ahead. And also for our adult learning, we're beginning soon on Wednesday evenings with the clergy, with Debbie Maserano, with Professor B. Lawrence, with Kathy Shivitz, as we'll be learning together every Wednesday night as an adult learning community. All that and more, again, please check out our website. We conclude this part of our prayers this morning with Oseh Shalom, a song of peace. For even on this heavy day, it is inevitably optimistic, for all of us have the capacity to change. So should we pray, more importantly, act to bring peace to all within this world, keeping hope always alive.
So much to be part of this Mishkan HaNefesh, this shelter for our souls, even when we can't be together physically, to be together virtually. As Rabbi Jason said, we have many more opportunities later in this day to be together. We did want to also remind you that if you have a little one in your home, we have our family services for Yom Kippur already uploaded, so you can watch it whenever it's most appropriate for your little one. And so if you are fasting, please do so in a safe way. We hope it is a meaningful fast. And we look forward to being together again in just a little while as we continue the journey through this Yom Kippur day, as we continue to create together a Mishkan HaNefesh, a shelter for our souls. See you soon.